Hi, everyone. It's a Ticket to Christ. We are in the Women's series. Thank you for tuning back in. Looking at Luke chapter 10, verses 38 through 40, studying out Martha. Now it came to pass as they went that he entered into a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha received him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, which also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. But Martha was cumbered about much serving, and came to him and said, Lord, dost thou not care that my sister hath left me to serve alone? Bid her therefore that she help me. And Jesus answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things, but one thing is needful. And Mary hath chosen that good part, which shall not be taken away from her. Okay, so what is standing out to you about Martha in this situation? Well, for me, I get a picture of Martha being she was the older sister, I think. And I think that she was probably kind of a no-nonsense type, very responsible, maybe somebody who's the take charge type. She would be cooking the meals, doing the dishes, cleaning the house, making sure this had that. Does anybody need more of this? A lot of busy work. But I think in this situation is that she kind of did not have the understanding of her role in a relationship with Jesus. So Jesus is in her room, and basically she would be doing all this busy work and not really getting what she could have from the Lord. But her sister Mary did, because she was sitting at Jesus's feet and heard his word. And so Martha was distracted by all of this serving, and missed, I think, or would have missed, just an incredible opportunity to learn directly from Jesus and to hear the words of the Lord herself. And so she had her priorities out of order through, I think, a lack of understanding of what it means to really have a relationship with the Lord. That really was an opportunity to be at his feet and, grow in her devotion to him, and just really ask questions. All the questions she could have asked, the time that, it was just, was completely off. You have Jesus, the Son of God, in your house. She called him Lord. So to me, she had an understanding that if she didn't know he was the Messiah, she knew at least that he was a man of God in a very special way, right? And so to have Jesus in her home and not understand, and even saying, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Bid her therefore that she help me. So you see that Mary did not understand. She was distracted by her service. And sometimes that can happen in our lives, where we become so distracted by doing things, and sometimes even good things, serving in this ministry, doing that, doing this. And we get so distracted by doing the work, maybe even the work of the Lord, that if you're not careful, you can neglect your time with God and get your priorities all wrong. And so Jesus is showing her here that only one thing is needful. And Mary chose the right way. That what Mary was doing was actually the one thing that Martha needed to be doing. That was the most important, and it would not be taken away from her. And I think that Martha, and it's not that the Lord is not saying be responsible and that things should not be done, but Martha this was her opportunity to really learn from Jesus and to grow in her own understanding of Jesus, his heart and who he was. And I'm assuming that she did that, that she went and sat down and learned, because if you look at John chapter 10, chapter 11, this is when Lazarus, remember, Martha is the sister of Mary, and Lazarus who died, and then Jesus who rose from the dead, and that account is in John 11. I'll drop these scriptures down below, but if you pick up down in verse 20, it says Jesus, headed to Bethany, but by the time he got there, Lazarus had died and was buried. So in verse 20 it says, then Martha, as soon as she heard that Jesus was coming, went and met him, but Mary sat still in the house. So we see Martha was the one who ran out first to meet Jesus, not Mary. And I thought that was interesting that Mary just sat in the house when Jesus came. She must have been just too devastated to move. It sounds to me like Mary was the more sensitive of the two women, softer, and Martha was the more more mature, practical, take charge type. And it says then said Martha unto Jesus, Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died. But I know that even now, whatsoever thou wilt ask of God, God will give it thee. Jesus said unto her, thy brother shall rise again. Martha saith unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Jesus said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Believest thou this? She saith unto him, yea, Lord, I believe that thou art the Christ, the Son of God, which should come into the world. And when she had said so, she went her way and called Mary, her sister, secretly, saying, the Master is come and calleth for thee. So we see Martha's heart and her understanding and her faith, and she got that testimony from Jesus that whoever believes in him will never die. And Jesus says, you believe me? Do you believe this? And she says, yes, Lord. Not only did she say, yes, Lord, she says, I believe you are the Christ, the Son of God, which should come into the world. So Martha understood. She got it, So this Martha is an incredible woman, an incredible woman of God with an incredible heart. I don't think enough is preached about Martha. And we see here that she had an incredible comfort and testimony that came from Jesus's mouth that is quoted all the time by people, who need some comfort and need to know, just to have that reassurance. And, the rest is history. Jesus called Lazarus forth and he rose from the dead. So those are some of the insights I had about Martha. It is definitely worth studying out for yourself, reading through the whole thing so that you can get a better grasp of it, and just looking at just her interaction. And there are other scriptures. I think John 12 goes into a little bit more about Martha and Mary as well. I think it's more focused on Mary, but at least the family. So that could give you some insight too. Well, that's it from me. I hope it gave you, blessed you in some way, gave you food for thought, and that you're having a great day. Take care.